Hello, hello, welcome back to my channel. It's me, SB, and I decided to make a quick tutorial on how to do a magic circle or a magic ring in crochet because I've been making a lot, and I mean a lot, of granny squares, and I wanted to share how to do two different ways of making a magic circle or an adjustable ring, if you will. So let's get to it. So first and foremost, what I do is I hold my left hand or your non-dominant hand in the shape of a pew pew. And I use two fingers for this. So I take the tail end of my yarn and I drape it over the front of my fingers. So over and then towards the back and around. So that's 1, 2, and 3. So now your tail should be in the back or towards the back of your fingers. So now I take my thumb on my non-dominant hand and I grip the very first string that we have, which is closer to your palm, and I just hold it there. And I usually use my other fingers as well to kind of hold everything in place while I take my crochet hook in between my index and my middle finger and go through the first 2 loops on your fingers. And there you go. And now what I do is I hook onto my yarn and pull through and use my index finger and my thumb to grip my 2 little strings behind my fingers. So make sure you have the tail as well gripped. And now you are ready to work your magic ring. So I usually chain 1 and I never count this chain 1 because this one is going to get pulled tight. And yeah, otherwise your chain is going to be way shorter. So I am working double crochets, so I chain up 3 and just continue working my first round. Now, real quick before we continue on with closing our magic ring or our magic circle, I want to point out that at times while you're working, you may notice it opening wider and wider, and your tail might get lost in your work. So just be mindful of that. So give your tail a quick pull, and you'll see that one of your little strings here will start to move and start to tighten. And you just give that a little tug and it'll tighten everything up just like that. And that is how we are going to close our ring. So once again, you're going to have 2 yarns, 2 strings coming out from the center of your ring and your tail. So what I like to do, once you do this more often, you'll know exactly which one to pull. But for now, as a beginner, always pull on your tail thread and you'll see which one moves. So for me, it's the one that's closest to me. And then we're going to take this and we're going to give it a tug from the left side or from the non-dominant side that you're working. And that is going to tighten your center circle up. And now we can pull the tail the rest of the way. And it's going to tighten that center circle up. And you can continue pulling. Of course, don't pull too tight because you don't want to break your yarn. And now we have a complete circle. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to complete my granny square. And you just work up the same way you normally would, whatever the pattern says. Okay, so that was method one. That was using a double loop wrapped around your fingers. So now let's go ahead and work a slip knot adjustable ring. So this one's the easiest one, but also I think the most fiddliest. And yeah, I really don't like using this method, but it has its points, and you know, it has its good things. So the way you normally make a slip knot, or at least the way I do, is I hold it like this, twist like this, and pull up on my working yarn. So that way we now have an adjustable slip knot where your working yarn is what tightens it. So I found in this method, you want to use your tail as the adjustment point. So whichever way that you use to make a slip knot, make it to where your tail is your adjustment point. So I just flip it the other way, and there we go. Now my tail adjusts how tight my ring goes. And you want to make it big enough to where you can work all of your stitches into. So now, instead of chaining, we are just going to work into our slip knot. So you're going to have this funky little thing here. So just kind of hold it with your fingers. And I'm going to go ahead and chain up 3. And we are just going to work our pattern the way we normally would. Just working into that chain space. It's a chain 1, mind you. And you get kind of the same results as the first method. Now, as you can see, my tail right here is getting a little too short, so I'm gonna kind of pull this just a bit so that way I don't lose it inside of my work. All right, so we are at the point where we can close our center ring. And this one's so simple. All you do is you pull on your tail and it'll tighten everything up. And there we go. So we used a simple loosey-goosey slip knot for this method. And now I will complete my work here. So either method that you use, they both work just the same, and it's all about preference at the end of the day. Some people just prefer to keep it simple and just do some chains, maybe like 2 chains, and then slip stitch to that first one. And you get kind of the same effect as this if you just use the chain 2 method, but you still have a tiny, tiny hole. The reason why I like using this is because it closes up that gap nice and close. And this one technically won't slip out. This is the slip knot method because it is a knot. So it is nice and secure, and theoretically you could just cut off this and be pretty secure. I always still weave this in so that way I know for sure that it's not coming out. As where with this one, you don't have a knot, you just have a series of, you know, a loop that's going through there. So definitely you want to go around it another time and secure it in place. So yeah, I hope this tutorial was helpful and you learned something new today, and maybe you can teach me something new. Drop a comment down below. What is your favorite method of making rings in crochet? And also let me know why you prefer one method over the other. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Happy crafting, happy crocheting, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!